welcome to the Dynamic Duel Podcast, a weekly show where we review superhero films and debate the superiority between Marvel and DC by comparing their characters in stat-based battle simulations. I'm Marvelous Joe.
And I'm his twin brother, Johnny DC.
And in this episode, we are doing neither a duel nor a review, but we are going over all of the news that was released at San Diego Comic-Con 2019. As we do every year, we like to dedicate an entire episode to the events of Comic-Con, primarily because there's just so much news that comes out during this time that we don't really have time for anything else.
Right.
As you guys know, we like to talk about the comic book movie news in every episode. So today we're going to discuss how Avengers Endgame has become the highest grossing movie of all time, the first Watchmen trailer. We're going to talk about the Marvel Studios Hall H panel that revealed all the different Phase 4 movies, including Black Widow, The Eternals, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, Thor, Love and Thunder, Blade, and we'll also talk about the television shows they introduced, including The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Wanda Vision, Loki, What If, and Hawkeye.
And then we'll wrap it up with a discussion of the new Harley Quinn trailer for DC Universe.
So little DC news to talk about this year.
You know, overall, this is kind of the worst Comic-Con ever. And not just for a DC fan. I mean, a lot of people are excited about the Marvel news that has come out, but ultimately, what came out of the show? We don't have any posters, we don't have any trailers or anything like that.
We have a few pieces of concept art.
We have 2 pieces of concept art that were officially released digitally.
Sometimes it's not about the visuals. Sometimes it's just about the news and the anticipation that it sets up.
Sometimes it's about quality over quantity. Unveiling the 10 new films in Marvel's slate isn't as big a deal, I think, as people realize.
Oh, whatever. If this was fucking DC announcing their 10 film slate, you'd be going apeshit over this.
Maybe I would.
You absolutely would.
I would at least hope that they would unveil some kind of trailer or poster.
You wish
or something
DC
like that.
did this.
I do wish DC
exactly.
did this. I do.
So I don't want to hear it. Just knowing what's coming in the future is enough to get hyped.
It just amazes me how little Marvel can show people, and people still lose their shit.
Yeah, definitely. That's the mark of a good brand right there.
You're right. Yeah, that's true.
Before we get into the news, though, we do want to give a shout out to the Emerald Dragonette, who was kind enough to leave us a lovely review on Apple Podcasts. She got us to 127 ratings, and she is the real MVP of this episode. If you guys want to be the real MVP of our future episodes, please go ahead and rate us on Apple Podcasts, because we're trying to get to 200 ratings on that platform so that our reviews of the Marvel and DC movies and shows will be eligible to be included toward the official tomato meter.
Yeah, we'll have met all the criteria that they outline. Thanks once again to the Emerald Dragonette.
One of the things that the Emerald Dragonette said in her review was that she's surprised that our show doesn't have a larger audience. And I'm like, yeah, right. I mean, you guys have to be our marketing team for us, because Jonathan and I just really suck at marketing. So just, again, tell everybody you know about the show. But with that out of the way,
quick, to the No Prize. So a No Prize is an award that Marvel used to give out up until the 90s to fans. Our version, the Dynamic Duel No Prize, is a digital award that we post on social media that I personally draw for those who we feel gave the best answer to our question of the week. Last week's question was, if you could only choose one, would you rather subscribe to HBO Max or Disney Plus?
Right, HBO Max is the new Warner Brothers streaming service that's coming out that has DC's content on it. Not all the same content that the DC Universe app has, but it'll have a lot of their original shows. And Disney Plus is the app that will have all the new Marvel content on it, including some of the television shows that we'll be discussing later on this episode.
I guess so far we've learned that the only show that's going to transfer from DC Universe to HBO Max is Doom Patrol.
Oh, what about Titans?
They haven't confirmed that yet. I thought they did, but they haven't.
Oh. So HBO Max barely has any DC content at all.
Well, it's going to have a lot of the CW shows as well.
Okay.
So
that's right. It'll have Batwoman.
Right. We got a lot of answers. Our first honorable mention goes to Mitch Phipps, who said that he would rather subscribe to HBO Max because there's going to be more content that reaches a broader audience.
Jace Crump gets honorable mention for saying that if he had to choose, he would pick Disney Plus because Marvel is better, obviously.
Debatable.
There's a ton of movies and shows that his family loves on there.
Andrew Jason Allen said he would rather choose Disney Plus. Even though he's a DC guy, his girlfriend is probably going to make him get Disney Plus because Disney.
Because his girlfriend is cooler than he is.
No way, man. No way. I don't know about that.
Honorable mention goes to Aaron Alexander Jones, who said that he would subscribe to Disney Plus because HBO has too much content. And he's already invested in Marvel and Star Wars stories, so he'll go with Disney Plus and the DC Universe app and just skip over HBO.
I could kind of see that. Sometimes I go into the cereal aisle and like, so many choices.
Buy all the cereal.
Right, yeah. Just buy all the cereal. Shannon Sanderson chose Disney Plus because $6.99 a month is a pretty cheap price for all the content that you receive.
This is true. Honorable mention also goes to CJ Kraft for answering Disney Plus because the new Marvel shows sound amazing and he thinks it would be cool if they rolled the Disney Plus app into the Marvel Unlimited Comics app, which I think would be amazing. That'd be like kind of like the DC Universe app does.
Yeah, you wish you had the DC Universe app for Marvel.
Yeah, I do. I probably would not though.
Yeah. Adam Spees gave the answer Disney Plus because he mentioned that some Disney content with their Disney Vault and everything like that is difficult to find.
Honorable mention goes to Colby Henches, who gave the answer HBO Max because it has more grown-up offerings.
Yeah, try finding nudity on Disney Plus. Not gonna happen.
Speaking of nudity, do you ever think that Cinemax should be suing HBO Max for the name of their app?
No, I don't. Honorable mention also goes to David Cowan, who's a good childhood friend of ours. He gave the answer HBO Max due to their wider program selection from sports to movies. And I'm totally down with that. News, sports.
Don't talk like you're hip. You're not down with anything.
I don't even watch sports. But I like the idea of being able to watch sports if I wanted to.
There you go. Honorable mention goes to Kenneth McNeese Jr., who answered HBO Max because his kids love Boomerang and Cartoon Network. Now, a lot of these answers saying Disney Plus have talked about the family-friendly content, but one also has to acknowledge all the family-friendly content that HBO Max does have.
Right?
Yeah.
Jonathan Hazelton gets honorable mention for his answer of HBO Max, though he said he'll probably also get Disney Plus for his two kids.
No, that was not the question. Gun to your head, you can only pick one.
Well, he said he would prefer to get HBO Max.
Okay, well, Matt Estes gave the answer Disney Plus because he's a huge fan of Star Wars. And of course, they'll have original Star Wars content on Disney Plus, like the show The Mandalorian.
Yeah, that's cool, I guess, if you're into that sort of thing, you know?
Yeah.
And last but not least, Joel Seagrave gets our final honorable mention for his answer of Disney Plus because it's catered to families and the price is a plus, pun intended.
Yay! But the winners of this week's No Prize are Tim Brown, who said that he would subscribe to Disney Plus because it's cheaper, has lots of great content, and he mentioned something that no one else gave in their answer, in that it could possibly be bundled with a Hulu app, now that Disney now owns a majority share of Hulu, and also they're producing a lot of original content for Hulu, including Marvel's The Runaways and the upcoming Ghost Rider, Hellstrom, Howard the Duck, Dazzler and Tiger Show, MODOK, and Hit Monkey shows.
Oh, that's right, those animated shows.
Right, yeah, they're going to have a lot of content on Hulu, so they're almost going to be like sister apps.
Anyway, the other winner of this week's No Prize is Michael Owen, who gave the answer of HBO Max, because not only does it have more content, but Marvel and Star Wars are starting to feel a little oversaturated.
Oh, okay.
And I completely agree.
I know why you chose this answer.
Totally feeling the oversaturation of that, you know?
You're a big old hater.
It's like after Endgame, do we even need any more Marvel movies?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
And also, we're going to get them.
I thought that if Warner Brothers would have released the Birds of Prey and Wonder Woman 1984 trailers Monday morning, like first thing, that would have been like the most baller move ever. They would have dominated the news cycle. They could have released posters too, and just like all the visuals compared to like Marvel's zero visuals from Comic-Con. Oh, they would have killed it. What do you hire me, Warner Brothers? Just hire me.
They didn't do that though.
I know. I'm so sad.
Congrats again to Tim Brown and Michael Owen for winning this week's No Prizes. If you, the listener, want to win your own No Prize, go ahead and stay tuned to later on this episode when we will be asking another question of the week. And now that that's done,
on to the news.
All right, first on the news docket, we have the news that Avengers Endgame has now become the highest grossing film of all time worldwide. This is huge, gigantic news.
It's bigger than anything that came out of Comic-Con, honestly.
This is true. It surpassed Avatar. It's made more money than any other movie ever made. You know, not accounting for inflation, but if you account for inflation, the highest grossing movie of all time is still Gone with the Wind. And no one likes to think that.
It's too long. It's too long of a movie.
I was really nervous that Avengers Endgame wouldn't make it past Avatar, but during Comic-Con weekend, Avengers Endgame surpassed Avatar by $1 million and now has a gross of $2,790,600,000 over Avatar's $2,789,700,000.
So just barely.
It's enough. It's enough. How many all-time box office records does DC have?
I still remember when The Dark Knight was number 2.
Yeah, but now The Dark Knight Rises is number 27 of all time, and The Dark Knight is number 39 of all time. Jeez.
I do have to admit that the timing of this broken record is pretty amazing. To have it done like the same day as the Hall H panel.
Yeah.
Lucky bastards.
It was fated. But Marvel got their props from James Cameron and everything.
Of course, in the end, Disney's the real winner because now they own both Avatar and Marvel.
That's true. This is true.
Disney sucks! Gosh.
Disney owns your soul.
Not mine. Not mine. I'm not getting Disney Plus.
But congrats to the Russo brothers. They deserved it with this awesome movie that they made. Congrats to Kevin Feige and everyone else who was involved in making these wonderful, wonderful films.
I imagine it'll be a long time before that record is broken.
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
Okay, so moving on to the next bit of news. Unlike Marvel, DC actually put out a couple of trailers this Comic-Con. One of them being...
Yeah, no one talked about it.
People talked about Watchmen. It trended. It was like number 2 trending on Twitter for a while. It's still trending on YouTube. It's like the number 29th video right now.
29th?
Yeah. I'm sure it was higher earlier.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, the trailer is pretty awesome. Of course, it's for the upcoming series that's going to debut on HBO this October, they announced.
So it's coming up soon.
Yeah, we won't be reviewing it because it's not going to be released all at once and it's not bingeable.
Uh-huh.
But I'll be giving my thoughts on the pilot episode once it airs. So the trailer starts off, I think it starts off in a TV show. We see Hooded Justice, who we know is an all-time superhero from the Minutemen.
Yeah.
He crashes in through a convenience store window to stop a burglar. And, of course, we realize that this is being watched by the character of Looking Glass, who's played by Tim Blake Nelson.
Oh, Tim Blake Nelson?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was the leader in the Incredible Hulk movie.
Yeah.
I do like his mirror mask.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, and it's pretty interesting. He's sitting there wearing this mask, eating this can of beans.
Yeah.
And on the show, Hooded Justice is like, if I knew who I was, I wouldn't be wearing a mask. And that line
that doesn't make any sense.
Doesn't make any sense to me, really. But it seems to ring some kind of chord with Looking Glass. So after that line, the trailer cuts to a modern day, like, small town neighborhood, it kind of looks like. They're advertising a show called American Hero Story. It looks like it's going to have something to do with Ozymandias and Hooded Justice. We get our first look at Regina King coming off of her Oscar win. She's playing the character Angela Abraham, which is a great superhero name. Now, I think the show will go between her when she's older and when she's young, because this whole thing is intercut with footage of a young girl who looks like Regina King in an older setting.
Yeah, she's probably recalling the events that took place in the Watchmen original graphic novel.
Yeah, and it seems like she's really been affected by them because, you know, in the narration, she's talking about how people see the world as this great place full of lollipops and rainbows, and she's telling this young girl that the world is really in black and white, which is interesting because
it's not true?
Well, it's how Rorschach sees the world.
Yeah.
And of course, right after she says that, we cut to what appears to be like a blue-collar kind of Rorschach militia. They're quoting lines from his diary in the Watchmen comic series, alluding to the fact that Rorschach's journal was released by the New Frontiersmen. And this Rorschach militia seems to be pretty upset by the established order, like the cops, because they attack all of them in their homes, which causes the police, as we learn in this trailer, to start wearing masks.
Which is fascinating. It's a fascinating concept.
Right. It's to protect their secret identity. And these police officers, of course, include Looking Glass, who's standing with the cops, which is why I'm saying he's not a successor to Rorschach.
Oh, okay.
And Regina King's character of Angela Abraham.
So both Looking Glass and Angela Abraham are both police officers?
I think so. They may be detectives because they don't wear like the standard kind of cop uniform with like the yellow kind of covering.
Okay.
We see some funerals for some police officers, and we get to see like the new worldwide flag, it looks like. It looks like the world was united. It's pretty interesting. During the funeral scene, an FBI agent played by Jean Smart approaches Regina King's character and asks her if she knows the difference between a vigilante and a cop who wears a mask. And she doesn't know the answer to that question.
Well, the answer to that is a badge. There are some lines coming out of this trailer that I'm a little bit iffy with. I'll say that.
Well, Regina King's character, yeah, you're right. She does wear a badge on her belt. That's actually a pretty good answer. After that, Regina King starts talking with this old man who starts talking about a vast conspiracy and Dr. Manhattan.
Then we get the great song in the trailer that is David Bowie's Life on Mars. And it's almost like this whole show was written based off of that song. The lyrics match everything so perfectly.
Yeah, when they're talking about like how the lawman is beating up the wrong guy.
Yeah.
It's a great song. It goes really well with this trailer. I agree. But there's a bunch of quick shots. We get to see Don Johnson as Chief Judd Crawford flying the owl ship. Looks like the police like commandeered Night Owl's ship and are using it, for their own purposes. They get into some kind of fight, but it all looks like all this chaos that is happening is another Ozymandias plan. The trailer ends with Jeremy Irons. He's playing Adrian Veidt, Ozymandias, repeating Dr. Manhattan's line from the end of the comic about how nothing ever ends. And he says, "It's just beginning." Oh, and I got chills.
That was pretty good.
I got chills.
I did like that.
I'm like, oh shit, he's planning up some more stuff. And when he's plotting up stuff, it's never good.
People are going to die.
Yeah, people are going to die. It's going to be scary. One of the more interesting things towards the end of this trailer is what's known as a squid shower.
Oh yeah, that's what those were.
And I don't know if that has to do anything with Ozymandias' plan or what, but apparently these things are deadly. We saw the front of a newspaper earlier on in the trailer that mentioned these squid showers and how they killed a whole bunch of people in Boise.
So people are thinking that the squid aliens, as it were, are attacking again, maybe?
Maybe, possibly. Or maybe it's just like a regular unfortunate occurrence because Regina King seems kind of like annoyed by the squid shower and not like frightened by it. The trailer, of course, ends with Dr. Manhattan, oh my gosh, picking up a blue Dr. Manhattan mask at some kind of county fair. I just lost my shit when that happened. I did not expect to see him in this show.
I think he looks weird because he's not glowing like how he was in Zack Snyder's Watchmen movie. And I'm used to seeing him that way, and here he just looks like a dude who's painted blue.
Maybe they just haven't added the special effects yet.
Maybe. But we reviewed the Watchmen movie about like a year and a half ago.
Yeah, it's still one of my favorite episodes, one of my favorite reviews that we've done.
We said that it was like a great, palatable 2-hour adaptation of Alan Moore's graphic novel. Do you think that what you see here is a worthy successor to that film?
I know Dave Lindelof, the showrunner for Watchmen, likes Zack Snyder's Watchmen film. I'm hoping it's a straight sequel, honestly. Like, I'm hoping Dr. Manhattan is being played by Billy Crudup.
Oh, that would be fascinating.
There's still so much mystery behind it. I don't know if I could say just based off this trailer whether it's a worthy successor. It does have me intrigued, though. I can't wait to watch it.
Looking forward to hearing what your thoughts are about it later on this October. All right, let's get into the real big news of the episode and of the weekend, which was Marvel's Hall H Comic-Con panel, where they unveiled all of their upcoming Phase 4 slate of movies, as well as talked a little bit about some of what's to come in Phase 5, and also about what's to come on the Disney Plus streaming app. Now, I'm going to go through all these movies in chronological order of release date in which they're coming out. So the next movie to come out, obviously, is Black Widow. Now, we all knew that movie was coming out because we've seen a lot of behind-the-scenes footage of the film, although the movie was never officially confirmed until now, with a release date and everything. Black Widow is coming out May 1st, 2020. And Marvel unveiled concept art of the movie as well as brief footage from the film. Now, the concept art was pretty cool because it confirmed that Taskmaster is going to be the primary villain in this movie. We had already suspected that because in the set photos, there was a guy that looked vaguely like Taskmaster.
A lot like Taskmaster.
But now we get to see what his full costume looks like, and I'm pretty damn impressed. If you guys haven't checked out this concept art yet, definitely check it out. It's an image of Black Widow going hand-to-hand with the villain on a bridge, and it's pretty damn cool looking.
What I think is most interesting is the fact that he's holding a circular shield just like Captain America.
Well, yeah, right. Taskmaster does carry a sword and shield in the comic books. Here, he doesn't have his trademark sword, but he does have a shield that is very much reminiscent of Captain America's. I'm figuring that since Taskmaster's whole, superpower ability is photographic reflexes, meaning he can copy the physical fighting style of anyone he sees, that he did some research studying Captain America and is therefore now super adept at using that style of shield.
$20 says he has all of Captain America's gym physical fitness videos on VHS in some kind of lair.
Now, I'm wondering if he doesn't have the sword on him because we haven't really seen anybody in the MCU up to this point use a sword, but I'm sure that at some point along the way in this movie, he's going to be equipping a massive sword. And maybe a bow and arrow since he uses that in the comic books too.
That's not the only character that was revealed.
No, so the cast announcements included Florence Pugh, who was confirmed to be Yelena Belova, who was the short blonde-haired Black Widow character, another woman to come out of the Soviet Red Room, and a rival to Natasha Romanoff, again being played by Scarlett Johansson. We also learned that David Harbour, who is Hooper from Stranger Things, he's going to be playing Alexei Shostakov, who in the comics was the Black Widow's first husband, and he later became the Russian equivalent of Captain America called Red Guardian.
That's kind of interesting.
And we also learned that Rachel Weisz is going to be in the movie, and she'll be playing Melina Vostokov, who in the comics is Iron Maiden, and in this movie is being described as a seasoned spy, also from the Soviet Red Room program that Natasha and Yelena both went through.
It's shaping up to be a pretty cool cast of characters.
Oh, definitely. And we're not done yet, because we learned that an actor named, and I'm not sure how to pronounce this, but I think it's O.T. Fagbenli, he's playing a character called Mason. Don't know who that is, but he's being described as a fixer from Natasha's past. And it's highly suspected that he will end up actually being the Taskmaster character.
Oh, it's a mystery as to who's playing him?
Yeah, exactly. We don't know which actor is behind the Taskmaster mask yet. It's likely it could be Rachel Weisz even, too. We don't know yet.
Oh, that'd be cool.
That would be really cool.
Now, of course, this is supposed to be a prequel that takes place before Endgame.
Right, because she's still alive.
Right. I wonder if it'll feature Hawkeye in some way.
Hopefully, because apparently this movie does reference the Budapest mission, or her return to Budapest, where she meets Yelena Belova, according to a description of the footage that was shown at the event. Now, this footage was described as very Jason Bourne / Winter Soldier-esque in terms of its visceral action. Apparently, Tasha walks into a hotel room where Yelena has a gun drawn on her. They both have guns drawn on each other, and they keep stealing each other's guns during the course of the fight. And the fight moves over to the kitchen, and Yelena's face gets smashed into a sink, and Natasha gets choked out with a towel. Someone grabs a kitchen knife at some point. It sounds really high octane. It ends with both of them like choking each other out with a curtain and then sharing a round of vodka or something like that.
So Russian.
There's also a motorcycle chase that took place during this footage, as well as a fight between Black Widow and Taskmaster on a bridge. And during the fight, he's like mirroring her every move using his photographic reflexes. So when she throws, a left hook, he throws a right hook, and it just counters everything like that. Apparently, it was really cool to see. So I'm really excited for this. I still don't know what to expect from director Kate Shortland, but so far it looks like a lot of fun. I wanted it to be a lot like Jason Bourne and The Winter Soldier, because that's when Black Widow was the best in my opinion.
Yeah.
And this looks to be more of that.
Well, I've heard that a lot of the action scenes in the Marvel films are second unit. So the main director does not direct those scenes. They have their own like choreographer and action director, so that the director can just focus on like the more dramatic moments.
Mm-hmm. It's a pretty good system, I think. I think it's worked out pretty well for them.
Yeah,
so
apparently.
Far.
So the next film coming out next year is Eternals.
Yeah, Eternals comes out November 6th, 2020. And they kind of gave a vague synopsis of the film, saying that immortal beings are sent to Earth by the Celestials to protect ancient humans from deviants. And they set up in Olympia and are mistaken for Greek gods, like how they were in the comics. That's not quite their origin from the comics. In the source material, the Eternals were created from Homo sapiens by the Celestials. They were experimented on, and that's also how the deviants were created on Earth. They're all just human experiments.
I wonder if they'll learn during the course of the movie that, hey, these guys are our ancestors after all. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's possible. They may suspect that they're aliens and then learn during the course of the film that they're actually not. Now, a lot of people don't know what to think about this film, and I just have to say to them, get excited, because the movie's going to be amazing. If it's anything like I want it to be, it's going to be like Troy meets the Avengers. I still highly suspect that the film's going to take place primarily in the past, in ancient times,
right,
when they are worshipped as Greek deities. And I'm still hoping that Marvel will use this film to sort of set up mutants.
They have to.
Because when the Celestials did experiment on humans, they created not only the Eternals and the Deviants, they also instilled in humanity the potential for powerful mutations in the far future.
I wouldn't be surprised if that's sort of like the culmination of this film, like the climax. Like maybe even the Eternals are the ones who imbue mankind with the potential for powerful mutations, for powers.
Yeah, that would be great.
Great setup. You would think that if Kevin Feige was going to introduce mutants to the MCU, he would go all the way back to the beginning and tell how that even happened.
Right, because it would have made sense for them to just start popping up, I think.
Yeah.
So we got a big, huge cast list for this movie. Angelina Jolie was revealed to not be playing Cersei, but she's playing a character named Thena, who was a prime maternal from the comics. She's Thanos' cousin, and she's the daughter of Zurus, who was mistaken for Zeus. So I think that she's going to be the primary leader and the prime maternal during the course of this movie. Richard Madden is the male lead, who you know from Game of Thrones if you watch that. He was Robb Stark, and he's playing Icarus, who is the Eternals' finest warrior and probably the most powerful on Earth. Now, all the Eternals essentially have the same power set with like flight, strength, immortality, teleportation, cosmic energy manipulation,
psychic abilities.
They just have all the damn powers, but they can specialize in certain ones. And Icarus is one of the most powerful at using his cosmic energy powers.
Kind of like Captain Marvel, right?
A little bit, yeah. Except he can shoot his beams from his eyes. Bing.
Oh, okay. Okay.
He's more like Superman, I think.
Yeah.
Kumail Nanjiani is revealed to be playing Kingo, who in the comics is actually a more traditional Eternal. He lived on an Eternal Japanese settlement, and he dresses as a samurai and everything like that. So this is going to be kind of like a different take, probably a more Indian take on the character, and is probably worshipped as a Hindu deity.
Oh, interesting.
Selma Hayek has been announced as Ajak. And this is actually a gender bent character. In the comics, Ajak is male, but Selma will be playing the primary liaison to the Celestials, basically. She's the one who communicates with those godlike beings.
Oh, wow, interesting.
Brian Tyree Henry was announced as Phastos. Now, that actor played the voice of Jefferson Davis, who is Miles Morales' dad in the Into the Spider-Verse movie.
Oh, and he's in the Joker film.
Yeah, he's going to be in the upcoming Joker film as well. He is the Eternals' weaponsmith and technologist, and he uses like his cosmic energy to heat his forge and everything like that. It's really cool. But he's going to be mistaken for the Greek god Hephaestus.
Right.
Lauren Ridloff is an actress I've never seen before, but she's in the Walking Dead show. I think that's her primary credit. She's going to be playing Makari, who was worshipped as Mercury by the ancient Greeks. Now, this is also a gender-bent character as well. Makari is actually a male character in the comics, but here she's female, and she is the fastest Eternal as she's focused all of her Eternal energies primarily on her speed. A great actor from South Korea named Dong Seok Ma is playing Gilgamesh, who is the physically strongest of all Eternals, and it makes sense that this guy would be playing that role because he is freaking huge. He is jacked. I don't know if you guys have seen the Korean film Train to Busan. It's a zombie film that takes place on a train to Busan.
Right, I've seen that.
He is such a badass in that movie. Like, you see him, like, punching the shit out of zombies.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah, the big, huge one.
Yeah.
He's a great actor. It'll be cool to see him in this role. And last but not least, Leah McHugh was announced playing the Eternal character of Sprite, who in the comics is like the youngest looking trickster of the group who specialized in her psionic powers, specifically the ability to cast mental illusions.
Is she like the Loki of the group?
Yeah, but not evil. And it would actually be cool if like Thor and Loki showed up at some point during the course of this movie in ancient history, just to kind of like, I don't know.
Like, oh, it's
collaborate.
the Eternals.
Yeah, this is how you cast illusions. Check this out. Something like that. That'd be great. We did get a bit of concept art for this movie, which showed us what the Celestials look like, although we already know what they look like from the Guardians of the Galaxy movie when the Collector was explaining the history of the stones. They're still very heavily inspired by Jack Kirby's art, but they all look very unique and pretty damn cool looking, if I have to say so myself.
They look a lot cooler than Kurt Russell.
Right. I still don't know why they called Kurt Russell a Celestial in Guardians of the Galaxy 2. They should have just called him an Elder of the Universe.
Right.
Because he was based off of the Elder, the Gardener.
Like the Collector or...
the Grandmaster, the Gardener. Yeah. Anyway. But that does it for the Eternals news. Really looking forward to that movie. Again, I'm hoping for Troy meets Avengers. That's what I want the movie to be like. Should be amazing. All right, let's talk about the Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings film. This movie is coming out February 12th, 2021. I do like the title.
Oh, yeah. The Ten Rings. Right when I heard that, I was like, oh, snap.
Right, because we know that it's going to include the Mandarin now. Now, our theory this whole time, if you've been listening to the show, is that they're going to replace the character of Fu Manchu from the comics, who is the father of Shang-Chi, with the Mandarin, and have the Mandarin be the father of Shang-Chi. We also had conjecture that Keanu Reeves would be playing the Mandarin, but instead, the Mandarin is going to be played by Tony Chiwa Lung. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. And he's going to be the real threat behind many of the Iron Man films. You know, the whole thing that was ruined in Iron Man 3 with Ben Kingsley's Trevor Slattery.
Right.
But then it was revealed in a short that the real Mandarin actually does exist and is actually really out there.
It's just so cool to see something that like was called back in Iron Man 1. Make its way all the way into Phase 4.
Yeah, I mean, it's too bad now that Iron Man is dead and can't fight the Mandarin. But I think Shang-Chi is going to prove to be a worthy substitute rival, primarily just because I just really love Kung Fu films.
They are the best.
And I think this is going to be just jam-packed full of Kung Fu and like energy mysticism with the rings, unless they're tech-based. I don't know. But I'm hoping that the rings are magic.
I mean, it has to have a lot of fighting because Shang-Chi doesn't have any powers in the comics.
Right. Now, I don't know what either of these actors have done. Shang-Chi, I forgot to mention this earlier, he's being played by Simu Liu, who I don't know from anything. I recognize some of the shows that he's been in, including the upcoming season of Fresh Off the Boat and Orphan Black. He definitely looks like a badass. Dude is jacked.
Yeah, he's a lot more muscular than I thought he would be.
Yeah, but he's still lean, so he looks like he could be fast in a fight and everything like that. What's your favorite kung fu movie of all time?
Well, it's not really kung fu. My favorite martial arts film is probably The Raid.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I think mine is a toss-up between Legend of Drunken Master with Jackie Chan. I also really liked Hero with Jet Li and Donnie Yen.
I still like Enter the Dragon.
That's a great one, too. Although my favorite Bruce Lee movie is Game of Death, I think. But this movie is going to top all of those.
Shut up!
In terms of martial arts action.
What?
It's going to be amazing.
That's blasphemy.
It's going to be choreographed by Wu Ping.
Is it?
No, I don't know that.
Yeah, don't spread that rumor.
I hope it is, because he's one of the greats. But yeah, really looking forward to this movie.
Awkwafina is in it.
That's right. Awkwafina is the one cast member that I forgot to mention, but we don't know who she's playing yet. Awkwafina was in the movie Crazy Rich Asians.
Right.
Big up-and-coming Asian actress. So we'll see who she plays when they announce that.
Ultimately, I think it's just really cool that we get to see a new character that we've never seen before on screen. Yeah. And that brings us to our question of the week. Which other Marvel character that has never been on screen before do you hope gets their own film in Phase 5? Post your answer to our Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, or email us at dynamicduelpodcast@gmail.com. We'll pick our favorite answer and draw that person a Dynamic Duel No Prize that we'll post to social media.
Moving on to probably my favorite news coming out of this con, which is Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness film that was announced. It's coming out May 7th, 2021, so just a few months after Shang-Chi. First of all, I wasn't expecting a Doctor Strange film to be announced.
No.
I thought they were going to hold off on that for a little bit. Also, the title is freaking amazing. It's so freaking cool.
It is a cool title. And it's supposed to guest star Scarlet Witch.
Right. Yeah, and who knows, does she have anything to do with the whole madness of the multiverse? Like, does she go crazy from the events of her Vision and Scarlet Witch television show and, like, do some House of M shit? Who knows? But it sounds amazing regardless.
This takes place after her show, right?
Yes.
I remember Scott Derrickson saying that he wanted Nightmare to be the villain of the next one.
Which would be fantastic, because he's another dimensional villain, just like Dormammu was. And it seems like they're hopping through a bunch of different dimensions in this movie. And Scott Derrickson also said that this is going to be Marvel's first horror film. It's going to be PG-13 rated still, of course. But that really excites me because I'm a big fan of the horror genre. And
Scott Derrickson just does horror really well.
He made one of the scariest horror movies I've ever seen in the first Sinister movie. That movie still haunts me to this day. So, I mean, he's going to go really out there with it and probably pretty frightening. But, it's Marvel, so it's going to stay relatively kid-friendly and visually poppy.
But I'm sure it's still going to be scary.
Yes, and I can't wait.
Did you see what they got away with in Shazam?
Yes, right. Some of that was pretty scary, too.
They picked the perfect director for these Doctor Strange films.
Yeah, I think he's done a really good job. I'm really looking forward to what happens in this movie. Hopefully Nightmare is the villain, and hopefully it just blows my mind while also simultaneously making me crap my pants.
Sounds like a good time at the theater.
Hell yeah!
I remember not being a big fan of the first Doctor Strange film. I thought it was, pretty generic. But after Infinity War and seeing like the fully realized Doctor Strange, I am looking forward to this.
Yeah, and I highly suspect that he might be introducing Scarlet Witch to the concept of magic and how to use magic to control her powers. I don't know if they'll go into, Chthon and chaos magic and all that stuff, but I'm suspecting that's why she's in this movie. Because she was trained by Agatha Harkness, who is a witch in the Marvel comics, and I think Doctor Strange will replace her in that role.
She'll have more than just, like, telekinesis now.
Right.
And energy blasts.
Right, she'll be able to create hexes.
Crazy!
All right, moving on to Thor, Love and Thunder. This film was announced at Comic-Con, and it was totally out of left field for me. I was not expecting another Thor film to be made.
Yeah.
Although I am really excited that it is because I was such a huge fan of Thor Ragnarok and Taika Waititi's vision for this franchise.
Yeah, this was a big surprise for me. If anything, I thought if they were going to continue Thor, it would have been like in a TV show, like a Valkyrie TV show.
Right.
Or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm really surprised we're getting another movie.
Yeah. But it's coming out November 5th, 2021, so it'll be the third Marvel Studios movie to come out that year. It again stars Chris Hemsworth as Thor, Tessa Thompson as Valkyrie, but they announced that Natalie Portman will be coming back. I guess she buried the hatchet with Marvel Studios after she got pissed that Patty Jenkins was let go from the Thor sequel, and thank God she was, because we got the awesome Wonder Woman film out of that.
Right.
But it'll be cool to see Natalie Portman now play a superhero. Now,
yeah, she's going to be the Mighty Thor.
Yeah, she's going to be the Mighty Thor, who also wields Mjolnir as Jane Foster. Jane Foster, in the comics at the time, she's dying of cancer, but she kind of forgoes that frail, sickly form and becomes Thor when she wields the hammer. So it'll be an interesting dynamic as we see how she gets the hammer, how that relates to Thor, and how it relates to New Asgard, which is currently being run by Valkyrie.
What do you think of the title?
I hate it, honestly. I do not like the title Love and Thunder, although it does feel very Taika Waititi. It's a little bit rock and roll, right?
I don't understand, like, is that a reference to something? Is there like an album called Love and Thunder?
If there is, it's over my head. But I'm sure it'll be fine when the movie comes out, you know?
They're turning Thor into a comedy.
Yeah, they're definitely going very eccentric with the character. In the comics, Thor was never that eccentric, but
I guess it works, because Ragnarok was the best Thor film.
Yeah, for sure. And I felt like it was still true to character.
Yeah.
That film's eccentricities primarily worked because of the setting of Sakaar. It was just such an out there planet. I'm not sure how Taika is going to be able to bring in so much eccentricities into this if it's going to primarily take place on Earth. Unless, of course, they take it to outer space. Which they might do with the story and move New Asgard from Earth back into its rightful realm.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
So that's all of Phase 4 right there. That's just 2 years of movies. So it looks like these phases are going to be going a lot quicker from here on out. One of the films that was announced that's being developed for Phase 5 is Blade. Oh my God.
Blew my mind.
Who expected this? I think this might be the biggest shocker of the entire con, in that it was also announced that the character will be played by Mahershala Ali, who is a 2-time Oscar winner. I mean, if it wasn't going to be Wesley Snipes, who is probably well into his 60s by now, I'm really glad that it's this actor.
I'm sure Wesley Snipes is pissed off.
Well, he's heavily campaigning for the role.
Yeah. And knowing him, he's probably going to say some shit that he's going to regret later on.
Well, I don't really care about that because I'm just glad that we have a great actor playing this great role.
Yeah, I guess Ali contacted Marvel like right after his latest Oscar win.
Yeah.
It was like, hey, I want to be Blade.
And he's such a badass actor, too. He was great in Luke Cage.
He was fantastic. He was the best part of season 1.
And he was great as the voice of Aaron Davis, the Prowler, in Into the Spider-Verse. I haven't seen the latest season of True Detective yet, but I definitely want to check that out because I heard he was amazing.
Yeah.
There's not too much more to talk about other than the film was announced and it'll be starring him.
Well, did they even say it was a film? Is it going to be a TV show or
Variety
a film?
confirmed that it was a film.
Okay.
Yeah. But in addition to the Blade film, Kevin Feige also confirmed that they're going to be working on Black Panther 2, Guardians of the Galaxy 3, Captain Marvel 2, as well as, get this, drumroll, Fantastic Four, and an X-Men movie.
Yeah, I guess James Gunn reached out to fans who were kind of disappointed that they weren't going to see Thor next in the Guardians of the Galaxy film. He was like, hey, I got to finish Suicide Squad first.
Right.
The Fantastic Four news was great to hear.
Yes, I can't wait to see the Fantastic Four finally done justice, finally done the right way. I really hope that they get Emily Blunt and John Krasinski for the role, because I think they're just freaking perfect for it. It should put the Incredibles movie to shame, since we all know how much the Incredibles ripped off Fantastic Four. I want to see the Fantastic Four one-up the Incredibles.
If I was Kevin Feige, I'd be like, Disney, we're done with the Incredibles movies. Any ideas you have, give them to me. We're going to put them in Fantastic Four.
Right, exactly.
Because you can't have competitive franchises like that under the same umbrella.
Yes, exactly. If you guys want to hear a pitch on a Fantastic Four story that they could use for the movie, go ahead and subscribe to our Patreon. It's just $2 a month, and you'll get access to all of our movie pitches that we did. I'm especially proud of Fantastic Four and the Inhumans.
And Martian Manhunter.
Pretty much all these movies I was expecting, I thought they would all be in Phase 4, but it looks like they're all going to Phase 5. The one thing that wasn't announced or mentioned was Ant-Man and the Wasp, which is a little disappointing.
For me, the most disappointing thing was no mention of a Spider-Man sequel.
Well, no, Sony announced that earlier this month, that they were working on a Spider-Man Far From Home sequel. They didn't announce it at Comic-Con because they didn't have a panel.
Oh.
So I'm guessing that a Spider-Man sequel will probably come out probably 2021, 2022.
Yeah.
Because they need to make that movie as
soon as possible. Yes.
Considering, the mid-credits scene from Spider-Man Far From Home. That was just amazing. All right, real quick, let's jam through the television shows that are going to be on the Disney Plus app. We have the Falcon and the Winter Soldier TV show that's going to come out in fall of 2020. And it's going to star Anthony Mackie as the Falcon, Sebastian Stan as the Winter Soldier, and it's also going to star Daniel Bruhl, who played Baron Zemo in the Civil War movie. And they announced that in this, he's going to be wearing the iconic Baron Zemo face mask.
Well, they showed footage of him wearing the mask.
Oh, I didn't see that.
No, they didn't release it.
Oh, I'm not sad I missed it then. I am sad I didn't go to Comic-Con because this was amazing.
We're going to have to go next year.
Yeah, but they're not going to have like a huge lineup announcement like this next year. We'll have to go in 2 years.
Who cares? DC's going to own it.
No, whatever. Either way, really looking forward to the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Definitely getting that Disney Plus app for that. They also talked about Wanda Vision. We found out that show is going to come out in spring of 2021, right before the Doctor Strange movie, and the show is going to lead right into the Doctor Strange movie, since it's going to star Elizabeth Olsen as the Scarlet Witch and Paul Bettany as the Vision.
Does that mean I'm going to have to watch that TV show?
You're going to have to watch all these TV shows because we're going to be reviewing all of these TV shows.
If they're released all at once.
They will be.
You don't know that.
I'm like guessing that they will be. Apparently, the WandaVision show is going to be about the Scarlet Witch and Vision trying to start a normal life in the suburbs.
Oh, that sounds like Tom King.
Yeah, so it might be loosely based off of Tom King's Vision run in the comics.
Interesting.
Which was fantastic.
Yeah.
And of course, they'll probably try to bring Vision back to life, but he's going to not have all the same, emotions and memories as the previous model did, just like how it happened in the comics. Great drama. It's going to be awesome. The Loki TV show was also announced for spring 2021, coming out around the same exact time. And the logo for this looks like somebody was writing a ransom letter and just spelled out the word Loki and then slapped it on a screen.
It looks really bad. I don't get it at all.
I have to say, all the logos for all these movies and shows look great. Loki is the big misstep. I mean, I'm sure the show is going to be awesome because I love Tom Hiddleston as the character. It was confirmed that this series is going to take place after the events of Avengers Endgame, when he used the Tesseract to slip out of the Avengers Tower. And we see what happens to him there, having not been through any of the redemptive arcs of Thor the Dark World or Thor Ragnarok. So he'll be primarily villainous again, which is cool.
I don't know how I'm going to feel seeing him outside the context of the world of Thor.
Well, I mean, he's been in literally all the Thor movies, so, time for him to branch out and have new adventures. They'll be exciting to see. The only animated Marvel television show that's coming out to Disney Plus is called What If. We talked about this a few months ago on the podcast.
Nothing really new to report other than the fact that Jeffrey Wright will be narrating the show as the Watcher.
Yeah, Uatu, the Watcher, which is huge. I love the actor Jeffrey Wright. He's my favorite Felix Leiter from the James Bond movies, and he just has just a great voice for this. Hopefully they model Uatu the Watcher using the same design that they used in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 at one of those end credits when Stan Lee was talking to them. And we already know that the first What If episode is going to involve Peggy Carter getting the super soldier serum instead of Steve Rogers, and what that would be like. The movie cast is going to lend their voice to the show. It's going to be awesome. Look forward to that. The show that we did not know about prior to Comic-Con was Hawkeye. There's going to be a Hawkeye television show that's coming out in fall of 2021. And it's going to star Jeremy Renner as Hawkeye and be loosely based off of the Matt Fraction run from the comics, which is amazing. It's the best Hawkeye run. You should definitely check it out. And it also heavily features Kate Bishop and her training under Clint Barton. Kate Bishop is also going to be in the show. They showed an opening cinematic at Comic-Con of like the title treatment for the show, and it looks amazing. It looks just so damn cool. I'm really excited about this one, especially since it might mean that we finally get to see Hawkeye done justice in these MCU films. Because if you guys listen to our Hawkeye versus Green Arrow episode, you know how much of a huge fan of Hawkeye I am and how I feel like he's been done a big disservice in the MCU thus far. Like, people make fun of Hawkeye. You don't want to make fun of Hawkeye. He'll fucking kill you. And you won't even see it coming.
Yeah, we'll see if they could do better than the Arrow TV show.
But yeah, that does it for all of the Marvel Hall H panel Comic-Con news.
Finally,
it's a whole lot to cover, and hopefully you guys are as excited as I am for like literally everything that was announced on this list. It's an amazing time to be alive, really.
Oh, I'll tell you what you should be excited about. DC Universe's Harley Quinn official trailer.
It's pretty awesome, actually.
It's like Teen Titans Go meets Rick and Morty.
Why the comparison to Teen Titans Go? Because it's definitely not kiddish.
No, it's absolutely not. In fact, they even have a warning at the beginning of the trailer saying, hey, this is for mature audiences.
Right.
The comparison to Teen Titans Go is just sort of the animation style, and sort of what they're saying is going to be like a lot of like fourth wall breaking and just zaniness, making fun of the DC universe and things like that. So
I really cannot have enough shows that make fun of the DC universe.
Well, I'm sure like the Offenders cartoon series on Hulu are going to make fun of Marvel in some way.
That's valid. Like Howard the Duck and MODOK. Yeah, for sure.
Right. Now, this trailer is even more jam-packed than the Watchmen trailer. The whole thing is just a series of quick cuts of Harley Quinn, like, kicking all kinds of ass, and just, like, crazy things
just
happening.
Being sassy.
Yeah. Apparently, she's, like, drinking buddies with Dr. Psycho and Clayface, although I guess Clayface is the bartender.
Yeah.
Clayface is being voiced by Alan Tudyk. Alan Tudyk is also voicing the Joker, I guess.
Oh, really?
Dr. Psycho is being voiced by Tony Hale.
Oh, from Arrested Development.
Right.
He did the voice for the Joker in Batman Ninja.
He did, yeah. Great voice. The voice cast of this is just going to be amazing.
Wanda Sykes, Jason Alexander.
JB Smoove, he's going to be Phil the Plant. Which, of course, Poison Ivy's Plant is going to be its own character.
Yeah. I really like the song that they chose for this trailer. You know, a riff off of the Mary Tyler Moore theme song, done in like an 80s Ramones punk style.
Yeah, exactly.
It makes it kind of feel like Daria. Do you remember that show?
Yeah.
Where like Daria just doesn't give a shit. That's how I feel exactly about this, but with superheroes, which is a great compliment.
It looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. King Shark looks like he's going to be a giant wussy. He gets like the cigarette butt flicked at him. He's like, ow.
I like when she's flossing and doesn't give a shit away from the bar. You know, doing the dance, the floss.
Yeah, I'm going to start doing that whenever I want to leave a conversation now. They touch on Harley's romance with Poison Ivy.
Yeah, briefly.
She's being voiced by Lake Bell, who's a phenomenal voice actor.
Are you still a big fan of Kaylee Cuoco's voice?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. She's just perfect. Like, every time I hear it, it's like, yeah, that was a great choice cast. But we do get to see Harley Quinn, strangely enough, like, throat punch Aquaman and just, like, take him out. She just has so much attitude throughout this whole thing.
Would Aquaman be hurt by a throat punch by Harley?
No! I don't know what's going on there. We do get to see Batman, too, and that's sort of how the trailer ends. She's like, holy shit, can we do that again? And Batman's like, no.
Is it Kevin Conroy doing the Batman voice? It sounds like it.
No, it's Diedrich Bader.
Oh, the guy from Office Space.
Yeah.
His low-life neighbor.
Right.
That's a great choice.
It is. He has a great, like, low, gruff voice.
Yeah.
We don't have a release date yet. It is coming out in the fall, though.
Of this year?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Along with Titans 2, which has been renewed for a second season. So has Doom Patrol, and Young Justice has also been renewed for a fourth season.
Nice.
So basically all the DC TV shows except for Swamp Thing. I'm still hoping that gets changed eventually.
Yeah, that's kind of a bummer.
We also have Stargirl still to look forward to next year. That was supposed to actually debut this year, but they pushed it back.
That's too bad. But I think that does it for every bit of news on the docket.
Yeah, I think you're right. Holy crap.
So let's move on to our main event of...
That's not happening.
No, that's the whole episode this week, guys. There was a whole lot to talk about. Hopefully you guys enjoyed listening to it. In our next episode, we're going to get back to regular programming, and we're going to do a review of the first Avengers movie in honor of Endgame breaking the record.
Yeah, it's the only Avengers film we haven't reviewed yet.
Yeah, because we reviewed Endgame and Infinity War and Age of Ultron. So this is the last one to get to. Gonna have a lot of fun doing it because I love that movie. And in the following episode, we're gonna have a duel between Loki and Ares.
Yeah, so look forward to that.
Let us know what you thought about all this Comic-Con news by reaching out to us on social media on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, or you can email us at dynamicduelpodcast@gmail.com. If you visit our website, dynamicduel.com, you can find links to our social media profiles there.
As well as a link to our merchandise store, which is on tpublic.com. If you use the link from our website, you'll get a discount on any purchase you make from our TeePublic store. And of course, all of our artwork that goes on the merchandise, from t-shirts to mugs to phone cases, is the no prize art we do every week.
And who are you drawing this week?
Black Widow.
Sweet, I'll buy that t-shirt for sure. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And again, remember to please share us with your friends and family and on social media so we can up our listenership and get to 200 ratings on Apple Podcasts.
Or you could rate or review us on whatever platform you're listening to us on.
Yeah, that definitely helps in spreading the word about the show. And we will talk to you guys next week.
Up, and away.
True believers.